Less than 3 years after agreeing to build one of the world's longest undersea gas pipelines, the leaders of Turkey and Russia turned this valve in Istanbul to mark the first delivery of gas through the newly completed TurkStream Pipeline.
I would like to repeat once again that the supply of Russian gas through the TurkStream surely will be very important not only for the economy of Turkey but the whole Black Sea region, and will positively influence the development of many European countries.
It will deliver much of Turkey's natural gas imports, which provide a third of the country's electricity. The 910-kilometer pipeline stretches across the Black Sea from the Russian town of Anapa to Kıyıköy in Turkey. On January the 1st, it began delivering gas to Turkey and onwards to Bulgaria. It can carry up to 15.75 billion cubic meters of natural gas, enough to power nearly 8 million homes. The second leg of this pipeline is expected to be completed this year. It will extend through Bulgaria to Serbia, Hungary, and Slovakia. Russia currently supplies gas to these countries by the Trans-Balkan pipeline, which passes through Ukraine. As Moscow cuts out Kiev, its reliance on Ankara is rising. The two countries are promoting the use of domestic currencies for international transactions. They're hoping this and other measures will drive up their trade volume from around $26 billion in 2018 to $100 billion over the next few years. This cooperation is extending way beyond trade. The two countries are jointly patrolling a newly cleared 30-kilometer deep safe zone along Syria's border with Turkey. Ankara is going ahead with the purchase of Russian S-400 missiles despite staunch opposition from Washington. And they're trying to resolve their foreign policy differences, including the conflicts in Syria and Libya.
No one has the right to throw the whole region, especially Iraq, into a new circle of fire just for the sake of their own interests. As a country that can talk to all sides, we'll continue our diplomacy in a multifaceted way. We won't allow our region to burst into blood and tears by mobilizing all the resources we have. In this process, we'll be in constant dialogue and consultation with the Russian Federation and my dear friend Mr. Putin.
The TurkStream project was launched in 2017 when bilateral relations were still fraught over Turkey's downing of a Russian jet. Their ties have improved immensely since then, and the completion of this pipeline is building hopes that diplomacy can help bridge their disputes as well. Alican Ayanlar, TRT World, Istanbul.
Well, for more on this, the chairman of the London Energy Club, Mehmet Ogutcu, joins us live now from Izmir. Welcome to Money Talks, Mehmet. Now, this is a huge project, isn't it? When it's fully up and running, about 3 billion cubic meters of Russian gas will be piped through this Turkish pipeline. How significant is this project to both Turkey and Russia?
Well, it is a very, very important project, but I would like to say first what we have witnessed in the first 8 days of 2020. If this is an indication of what's to come, I'm seriously worried what will happen. Also, these developments overshadow such an important, crucial meeting inaugurating Russian gas pipeline to Turkey and through Turkey to Europe. I think we can look at it at two levels. One is how important it is for Turkey, and then what Russia is going to gain from this pipeline. I think from Turkish point of view, it is desirable to have TurkStream 1 directly under the Black Sea without passing through Ukraine, Romania, and Bulgaria. This is in the Trans-Balkan pipeline, and paying transit fees as well. And there are also lots of disruptions we witness in the past. So it's good that Turkey will have its supply security directly under the Black Sea and interacting with Russia and nobody else. However, the price of this gas, unfortunately, is still higher than what Europeans are paying for Gazprom gas. And Turkey is paying about $300 per thousand cubic meters, whereas most European countries are paying about 220. So if there is an opportunity, I think this will come when the renewal of the contracts come up, Turkey has to negotiate very hard to make sure that this contract is flexible, short to medium term rather than 15, 20 years. This is reflecting also global gas dynamics. And also Turkey will be able to re-export the gas that it receives from Russia because Turkish gas demand is not increasing as much as we thought it would. Therefore, this pay or receive contracts will put Turkey in a difficult position unless we have the right to export to third countries.
Okay, interesting.
But
now, can I ask you?
Turkish point of view.
I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
Mehmet. We've got time for one more quick question. We know Washington has always been against these pipelines, anything that helps Russia supply gas to the European continent. Do you think there's anything the US could do to stop these projects?
I think it's too late in the game because Turkish Stream 2 almost completed. It will start pumping gas very soon to first Bulgaria, through Bulgaria, Greece, North Macedonia, and then Romania, Serbia, and Hungary, Baumgarten in Austria. But Nord Stream 2 is still halfway finished. There might be some problems there if they are going to enforce the sanctions.
Yes.
But in my opinion, both Russian Nord Stream 2 and TurkStream 2 are more or less fait accompli. They are reality on the ground. It's very, very difficult to enforce any sanctions on it.
Okay.
So one last thing I want to say that in this relationship, which as you said, includes not only energy trade, but also defense collaboration, also foreign policy convergence or divergence in Syria, Libya, East Med, the relationships are asymmetrical one. And I think we need to make sure that both trade balance and also balance in foreign and security policy issues in energy should be maintained. Otherwise, it's not going to be sustainable, this strategic relationship that is very important for both countries.
Okay, very good point to end this interview on. Mehmet Ogutcu in Izmir. Thank you so much for your analysis. Well, Turkey and other European countries together form the world's largest market for natural gas. Fulfilling 40% of this demand, Russia is their main supplier. Dan Ashby has more on the importance of the TurkStream pipeline for Russia's economy.
This is a great business deal for Russia because Turkey remains one of the most exciting energy markets in the world, real growth in sales there. But to give you some comparison, previously through the Blue Stream pipeline, Russia was transporting 24 billion cubic feet of gas. It will now be able to transport another 32 billion cubic feet of gas on top to both Turkey and onwards to southern Europe. So it's a big deal for Gazprom, for Russia's major energy supplier, but also for Russia's brand of being a global supplier of gas. Also, it gives Russia the opportunity to bypass Ukraine because there have been tensions between Moscow and Kiev in recent years. There were fears that there might not even be a deal between Ukraine and Russia to transport gas to Europe. So this gives Russia a bit more energy security, allows it to try tap up the southern European countries more to get more sales there, and also provides it with a bit more stability if things start to go downhill again with Ukraine. And finally, the big thing for Russia is it's a riposte, if you like, to the US, who has passed new sanctions against Russia, against Nord Stream 2, one gas pipeline. There are sanctions also that might affect TurkStream. And I think this is Russia's way of saying, you know, we can put down a major gas pipeline, we can provide energy, even if the US come at us with sanctions. So a good business deal for Russia, good for energy security in Europe from the Russian perspective. And I think Russia and Moscow will be very happy today to get this project well underway.